The Philadelphia Eagles are off to the NFC Championship game for the second time in 3 years as they hold on to beat the Rams in the snow 28-22. An absolute thriller at Lincoln Financial Field in South Philadelphia. And coming up on today's Eagles Now, Eagles news, injury analysis, takeaways from that game, and a whole lot more. So continue to hang out here with us on the show, but I want to begin with this. It's another huge and beautiful victory Monday. Go Birds! If you're pumped up about the Eagles advancing to the Final Four, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and let's talk Eagles right now. Welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you, and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. And I want to start off with this. During the course of that game, it went from a little bit of rain, some snow flurries, the field was clear, the grass was looking green, to the end of it, snow-covered, intense, back and forth, and a straight-up thriller of a game. And we're all going to remember that Eagles victory over the Rams January 19th of 2025 as an iconic game. Given the significance, given the individual performances, the snow coming down, it was blizzard-like conditions in Philadelphia, and of course, most importantly, the victory. We will remember this one forever. The 78-yard house call for Saquon Barkley, where he had patience and then was able to explode to the left, beat the safety, and then he was able to take it to the crib. And how about Saquon Barkley as he's running into the end zone, slapping his helmet a couple of times, doing that iconic Penn State dance that he did in Happy Valley for years. And then it was shades of Shady McCoy when he was able to take the ball to the end zone. And then he slides and celebrates. This photo, legendary photo. And with the snow coming down, Eagles offensive line, the best in the NFL, in the huddle, alongside quarterback Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. That's a really cool image. And then there's Jalen Hurts, who came back last week after having not played for a month. He played okay, 2 touchdowns, no picks, a win. And then in the snow, I thought Hurts did enough. And if you want to tell me that Hurts didn't contribute to the win, well, how about making a statement on the very first drive of the game and flipping the momentum in favor of Philadelphia, breaking a tackle, and taking it to the house for a 44-yard touchdown run. Jalen Hurts wins. And we've seen all these quarterbacks in the playoffs so far up until yesterday and going into the NFC Championship game who have turned the football over at an alarming rate, who have cost their teams victories. Jalen Hurts is not costing his team right now. He is playing a role in the Eagles making it to the NFC Championship game once again. His second NFC title in 3 years. What a great run for this Eagles team, and number one has been a part of it. I also want to talk about this. What a franchise this is, and what a century of football we have been witnessing for this Eagles organization. That's a credit to Howie Roseman. It's a credit to Jeffrey Lurie. This is one of the best, most successful, and most well-run organizations in the sport. Yeah, the Eagles only have 1 Lombardi trophy. But get this, since 2001, this is the Eagles' 8th appearance in the NFC Championship game, which means a third of their seasons have resulted in Final Four appearances during championship weekend. And the Eagles, with that win over the Rams, are now 7-0 all-time at Lincoln Financial Field and at home during the divisional round, the Link and at Veterans Stadium. And another takeaway I have from that Eagles victory over the Rams, Howie Roseman's fingerprints were all over that game. This is a look at him celebrating that final incompletion from Matthew Stafford, which officially punched the Eagles' ticket to the NFC Championship game where they will host the Washington Commanders. And just think about what transpired in that game yesterday and what we witnessed and the moves that Howie Roseman made, which has led the Eagles here, winning 14 games in the regular season, 2 more in the playoffs, and 1 win away from making it to Super Bowl 59 come February in New Orleans. Saquon Barkley, he was Superman once again. That is what an MVP candidate looks like. How about Mekhi Becton? He was a failed tackle. Eagles turn him into one of the best guards in football, and that block on the first Saquon Barkley touchdown run, which was very fitting. He runs it into the end zone, And as he's taking it to the house, the snow starts to come down. That was the start of what was a beautiful, majestic sight in South Philadelphia. That play doesn't happen if it weren't for that physical, bully ball type of block from Becton. CJ Gardner-Johnson was all over the field yesterday and had that huge TFL, the tackle for loss on Kyron Williams in the red zone, forcing the Rams to have to kick a field goal from Joshua Carty. There was the Zach Bond fumble recovery on the Jalen Carter forced fumble, a first-team All-Pro this year. And then some of the Eagles' young players really developing, making massive strides. Jalen Carter, one of the most dominant players in all of football. Him, Saquon Barkley, and Jared Verse, the three most dominant players on the field yesterday. And then there was Nolan Smith, who was awesome against the Packers, 2 sacks, and then was great once again against the Rams. And we're going to talk about all of these individual performances coming up right now. Let's start with Saquon Barkley. Eagles don't win this game without him. Eagles aren't where they are without him. When you take a player away from their team, how would that team fare? That's how I usually judge if a player is an MVP candidate or not. This Eagles 2024 team pivoting to 2025, the Saquon Barkley-led Eagles on the offensive side of the football. Thank you, New York Giants, and the Eagles got him for $26 million in guaranteed money. 26 carries, 205 yards, 7.9 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, the long of 78, and more explosive runs, which turn the momentum and the tide of the game. And even when the Eagles' offense can be a little bit monotonous at times, you're always on the edge of your seat because you know with this offensive line, with Saquon Barkley, with the blocking that everybody is able to display, he can pop off a long run at any given moment. And in 2 games against the Rams this season, Week 12 at SoFi Stadium, divisional round at Lincoln Financial Field, he combined against Los Angeles for 52 totes, 534 yards, 4 touchdowns. All those touchdowns more than 60 yards, right? And 10.2 yards per carry. Then there's Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton was drafted out of Louisville as an offensive tackle by the New York Jets. He played pretty well during his rookie year. After that, was injured, and he didn't play well. The Eagles signed him to be a backup swing tackle. Tyler Steen gets injured in training camp. So they try Mekhi Becton at right guard, and Jeff Stoutland develops him into a Pro Bowl caliber player. And from a failed project at offensive tackle to one of the top guards in the NFL, and he has come up huge time and time and time again this season for this Eagles offensive line and this Eagles offense, and they have to retain him in free agency this year, even though it's going to cost them a pretty penny. There's CJ Gardner-Johnson, who was great in his lone season with Philadelphia in 2022 when the Eagles turned him from mostly a slot corner to a safety where he had barely played. He tied with Justin Simmons for the league lead in interceptions that year, despite missing several games with that lacerated kidney. And on his way out, and last year with Detroit, he talked some smack with Eagles fans. And it didn't end on a good note. Howie Roseman got over that. CJ Gardner-Johnson got over that. And CJGJ has been the heart and soul of this Eagles defense this year. A great leader on and off the field, plays the game the right way. He's a perfect personality fit for the city of brotherly love. And when the Eagles clinched that playoff win yesterday, Howie was hugging Saquon Barkley, dapping him up, and he's celebrating with CJ Gardner-Johnson because Howie knows how big of a role CD Deuce has played for this Eagles team this year. Zach Bond, he had not played off-ball linebacker in his NFL career. Howie identifies him as a player who can play off-ball as a coverage linebacker. Vic Fangio develops him, and he turns into a first-team All-Pro for the Vetmen in his first year at a new position. It's ridiculous. This is what good organizations do. And how about the 2023 2 first-round picks for the Eagles? Jalen Carter, 9th overall. Nolan Smith, 30th overall. Some people were making fun of Howie for having this Georgia obsession. He got some of the best players in the draft over the course of a few years by drafting these Georgia Bulldogs and these SEC players, and you can throw Devontae Smith and Landon Dickerson as Alabama players into the equation. Carter and Smith against the Rams. These are 2 year 2 players who have taken Huge leaps. They combined for 10 pressures, 5 hurries, 3 sacks, 3 TFLs, 2 forced fumbles, both of which were covered by the Eagles, helping them win the turnover battle 2-0, and they dominated the game. And I want to spend some more time talking about Jalen Carter here. When you watch Jalen Carter all throughout this year, it's become obvious. Jalen Carter has all-time great potential. The sack of Matthew Stafford on 3rd down in the red zone at the end of the game was massive. Helped Philadelphia win the game. The quarterback pressure on the final play forced an errant throw, which sealed the game for Philadelphia. He was on the field for 68 of 70 snaps. He's a workhorse. He plays with power. He plays with force, strength, speed, athleticism, and agility at that special size. It's a rare collection of skills and talent. He's one of the most dominant forces in all of football. And the Eagles took a chance on him at number 9 when he had some character issues and some legal issues in the 2023 draft. And they knew we could take him. Why? We have the foundation and the leaders in place to let him thrive. And we can work with him because we know that he was the best player in that draft in 2023. And the 3 best players on the field yesterday, Saquon Barkley, who Howie Roseman stole from the Giants, Jalen Carter, who fell to the Eagles at number 9, and Jared Verse of the Rams. The sky is the limit for Carter. And when you get an interior pass rush, you can destroy and take over games. Carter's done it all throughout 2024, and he can go down as one of the top defensive tackles in the history of this organization and all time. Before we continue to move forward on today's show, I want to say thank you to the Bird Gang, because yesterday during our pregame show, we reached the goal that I've been shooting for alongside producer Chip all year long. We surpassed 100,000 subscribers. We did that and then some, and we reached another milestone of 101,000 plus subscribers. So if you want Eagles shows every single day, hit that sub button. In-season, off-season, news, analysis, rumors, reports, and we're going to continue to pump out some fantastic coverage in the lead-up to this Eagles-Commanders game. Our friends at Game Time making today's show possible. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. Pick an upcoming game, browse through the ticket deals on Game Time Picks, and it's so easy to find the best value for all kinds of seats to go to an Eagles game, but also concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and a whole lot more. You can customize your spot within the app as well. That's a very good feature. So curated deals make it easier to find the best price on great seats. The super deal's the best value for that event. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Game Time always hits you with the on-time ticket delivery, the lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation, job protection loss, all that and a whole lot more. So toggle the all-in pricing tool, by the way. Therefore, you don't get hit with any surprise fees at checkout. And if you want to go to Eagles Commanders, plenty of tickets available, and we'll help you save. How do we do that? It's very easy. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Now we get to some injury news and analysis here on the show. A Jalen Hurts injury update. Injured his knee when he got sacked. Leg kind of got bent underneath him. Came up limping. Was in the medical tent for several minutes. He said after the game, I was able to finish the game. We'll see what my status is all throughout the week. The good news here, he is expected to play against the Washington Commanders. And can we have a conversation about Jalen Hurts? Was he flawless against Green Bay? No, but he hadn't played in a month coming off that concussion. But what did he do? He threw 2 touchdowns, no picks, outplayed Jordan Love, and led the Eagles to a win. Was he great against the Rams? By no means, but pretty hard to throw it in a driving snowstorm when the conditions were not ideal for offensive football. What has Jalen Hurts done this postseason? He's played clean football, and he hasn't turned it over, and that's a big reason why the Eagles are playing for a trip to the Super Bowl come Sunday against the Commanders. Think about some of these other quarterbacks in the playoffs. Justin Herbert threw 4 picks against the Texans. Sam Darnold got sacked 9 times, threw a pick, and he fumbled. Jordan Love, 3 picks against this number 1 Eagles defense. Jared Goff and the Lions lost the turnover battle 5-0 as the number 1 seed at home. Matthew Stafford, he fumbled, then the Eagles got points and got the momentum. So Jalen Hurts has played clean football with a clean sheet, and this Eagles team relies on the run game, number 1 defense in the NFL, and that right there is a winning formula. And for those saying Jalen Hurts didn't even impact that game, he wasn't the reason they won, you're telling me a 44-yard touchdown run in which he broke a tackle and pulled away from defenders to score on the opening drive of the game to start off beautifully for Philadelphia, to get the fans into it, to get momentum on your side, didn't matter? Jalen Hurts is now in the NFC Championship game for the second time in 3 years. He is a part of the success that the Eagles have had, and he deserves credit for that. As for Quinyon Mitchell, has a shoulder injury. Laid that hit on Matthew Stafford to stop him short of the sticks. He too went into the medical tent. He did not return. Good news here, he doesn't believe it's serious. He could have a chance to play against this Commanders team as well. And I got to give a shout out to Isaiah Rodgers. He stepped up in the place of Quinyon Mitchell, who as a rookie has been one of the top corners in the game, a ball hawk who always finds a way to come through with pass breakups and great coverage. I know that Rodgers lost 2 50-50 balls, notably the long ball against Demarcus Robinson. He almost had 2 picks on those plays. He lost those 50-50 balls. Look, it happens. But he also stepped up and made some good plays on that back end. And the fumble recovery and spin gained an extra 40 yards, which helped lead to that Eagles field goal. That was huge. Now, this Eagles defense, if Quinyon Mitchell's out there, if Isaiah Rodgers is out there, regardless of who's out there, and Oren Burks had that big pass breakup of Matthew Stafford as well. He played pretty well in the place of Nakobe Dean. They're going to need to bring it against a very high-octane and legitimate Commanders offense. Jayden Daniels might be the best rookie quarterback that we've ever seen in the history of the NFL. Look at what this Commanders offense has done this year, and it's not like they have a bunch of star-level talent. The Eagles are much more talented, but this year the Commanders, number 4 in points per game offensively, 5th in yards per game, 6th on third downs, number 1 on 4th down conversions at 81.2%. Dan Quinn is going to go for it, and he's going to go for it a lot in this game on Sunday if those opportunities present themselves. And then the Commanders, when they get inside the 20, they score touchdowns. 6th there at 63.7%. This Commanders defense, though, this is where the Eagles can win this game if they bring it offensively and if the pass game improves. 18th in points per game, 16th in yards per game, 15th on third downs, 29th on fourth downs, and 21st in the red zone. I will bring you a preview later on today, barring any breaking news coming out on Hurts or Quinyon Mitchell, so be on the lookout for that. Who you got? Let me know for now. WAS for the Commanders, PHI for the Eagles. And don't forget to hit that sub button to be on the lookout for all of our great coverage this week and all of our great coverage every single day.